Oh, that looks good. Very nice there.
Should I be awake for this?
Well, no. But as long as you are, could you hold your ribcage open a bit? I can't seem... Ah! Oh, don't be such a baby. Ribs grow back? No, they don't.
What happens now?
Now? Let's go practice medicine.
Better send some body bags. Medic!
Helldivers. Well, not sure how you found yourself aboard my starship, but welcome to the Defender of Family Values. Since you're here, we're going to go ahead and make a medic support build. And before we get into it, if you guys like Helldivers 2 content and you like making class-based builds, they get a little quirky sometimes, then, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And yeah, let's get into it. Now, for this build, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to hit you first with everything that has to do with the equipment stratagems for each faction. So the Terminids and the Automatons. First, we're going to start off with the Terminids. We're going to go over the full kit on one page so you can see it. And we're going to talk about gameplay, strengths and weaknesses with it. And then we're going to move on and do the same thing for the bots. And at the end, we'll just do a general overview. And we're going to do a kind of like state of the galaxy. Obviously, the topic of today would be the new patch and kind of like what I like about it, what I don't like about it. It'll be a short section, but strap in. Let's get into this. First up, we're talking about the bugs. Now, as you can see, the full kit here, we got the spray and pray, we got the new stim, the thermite, the med kit. Stratagem wise, we're going with the supply backpack, the sterilizer with gas and napalm, and then the experimental booster. You get that from the Viper Warbond, I believe. But let's start off with the spray and pray. This thing is a great chaff clear. It just got patched and it feels excellent now. I actually prefer this semi-automatic shotgun to the breaker. I think the spray and pray does a better job. That's just my opinion. Now with the stim, this is the new kit on the block. You get this from the new Warbond. It's at the end there, a little bit of a metal grind, but I think it does have a playstyle, and I'm happy that they're experimenting with these different utility type weapons. And then the thermite grenade. Let me just say the first thing about the patch. This is probably the greatest change. Thermite grenade is so good now. What this does, just by taking the thermite grenade alone, it opens up the build potential and the loadout potential by by this much. Because the thermite grenade will cover every single heavy and massive target, freeing up your entire kit for whatever you want to, pick. The world is your oyster, essentially, if you just take the thermite grenade. So we are definitely taking that. I think that rounds out the build a lot, especially since it just gives you, this gives you a tool for everything that you're going to encounter. So obviously we are making a medic support build. So for the armor passive, you got to pick the med kit. This is going to give you more stims, and it's also going to increase your duration of those stims. And then for the stratagems there, you see that we're taking the supply backpack. This is going to be a great support option for your team. You're going to have to keep your eye on the left-hand corner of your screen, and it'll show you, it'll be blinking red or have a red highlight when your teammates are missing a certain item. Usually it's ammo or stims, so just top them off when necessary. And then for the weapon, we're going with the sterilizer. And we can kind of talk about the sterilizer and the gas at the same time, because gas got a rework in the patch. Now it disorients any targets, any enemies, and it'll basically cast confusion on them, if you want to go with fantasy terms, where they will just run around and attack randomly. They can still hit you, but they're not going to be directly focused at you. If you start kiting, they'll just be wandering off in their own direction. And on top of that, it does do a little bit of tick damage. It doesn't do as much as fire, from a flamethrower, but it still does do tick damage. It does decent damage. You can take out chargers and I guess eventually Bile Titans, but I wouldn't recommend that. That gas effect, though, it does not work on massive targets. I've tried it, and if it does work, I haven't been able to notice. So it would be a very minor thing. I would not try to gas a Bile Titan and expect them not to hit you. I've tried, and I end up dying a lot from it. But past that, we have the napalm. So the napalm, I think, works really well with this kit because when you gas them, they start to scatter and they start to roam around, and then you throw down that napalm, and then it just takes out everything on top of creating a wall of fire. So with this build, you are kind of controlling the battlefield. You're throwing down a gas to disorient, a bug breach and stuff. You can use your sterilizer as well to just like do a clean sweep and confuse all the bugs, and then a napalm to kind of give you a little more space or to just lock down an area completely. Now with the experimental booster, we're taking this because of the new stim pistol. So I kind of just mentioned a little bit of the gameplay, but let's go over all how the gameplay with this build for the bugs is going to work. The idea is you want to keep your teammates and your enemies all in your field of view, because with that stim, you're not going to be using it actually to heal your friends in combat very much, because the time to kill in this game for your Helldiver is very short. Your guys go from 100 health to 0 health really quick. You're not going to be able to get a stim to heal them all that often. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying you don't really come across it very much. But what this thing is great for is if you see your teammates about to like rush in there or they're about to get jumped, just hit them with a quick stim and their health will keep regenerating, obviously, so they'll be able to take a few hits. And then if you're just kind of like running to objective, hitting them with the stim is a great way for them to save using their stims to increase your stamina, because you can just refill your stamina. You get a lot of ammunition for the stim pistol. And the reloading wise, it works very similar to the Senator, where if you completely mag dump it, you'll refill the whole thing at once. But if you try to reload it, while the magazine is not empty, you'll just do one stim at a time in it. So kind of better just to dump the whole thing. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter because you're not using this thing to kill anything. I guess I should also answer, does the stim actually do any damage? No, it doesn't. I was shooting it at the little like nursing bugs, no damage at all. So don't try to use it to kill any targets, because it's not going to do that. I do wonder though, can this thing actually heal bugs or heal enemies that are hurt? I haven't tested that. So if somebody actually knows that answer, comment below, because that would be really funny. That's just like a funny, that would just be a funny sandbox interaction if that's the case. So really briefly with the gameplay, you want to keep everybody on your screen. You want to be topping off your teammates. You want to be disorienting the bugs with your sterilizer, gas for breaches, napalm, to create a distance and a wall of fire. And you basically want to be, the mama bear of the group. I don't know if you guys ever play MMOs, but the healer's job is basically just to make sure the kids and the other group members stay alive. And that's kind of your job here. And as you're managing the battlefield and making sure everybody's topped off, everybody has full stamina, if a Bile Titan or an Impaler comes up, something that's a little tough, you do have that thermite grenade to fall back on. It does a great job at taking them out. It's usually 2 to 3, depending on if you can hit the Bile Titan's head, but if you can hit the sack with it, it'll do the job with disabling it. So thermite grenade overall, man, so good if you haven't used it. So we can now move on to the bots. Now with the bots, very similar setup. The only thing we're changing out really is the stratagem weapon and our primary. Primary wise, we're going with the Jar 5 Dominator. This is just great medium penetration. This thing just knocks out 90% of the bots really easy. This is just a solid pick. I'm going with the HMG, the heavy machine gun, over the sterilizer, only because, again, with the bots, they have range, they have rockets, they're hitting you from, distance. So the sterilizer is not exactly going to be the best play for that, because you got to get closer. Now the gas does affect bots. It'll make them, shoot and hit other targets and not you. So that's why I'm going with the gas here. And then I'm just going with the regular Eagle Airstrike. Fire is more effective against the bugs and the bots. So I just went with the regular Eagle Airstrike. But you're basically going to be doing the similar kind of gameplay that with the bugs, where you want to keep your teammates close to you and top them off. Now I will say, actually doing that healer job is probably going to be easier with the automatons, because they're shooting you and your teammates are going to be getting hit more and your health gets chunked a little bit less. The TTK for the bots is actually probably a little bit slower, because they don't just maul you and like rip your head off immediately like the bugs can do. So you actually will be playing that healer role a little bit more, and you can keep an eye on your teammates and win the stim them. Now for the thermite grenade, this is really good against the Hulks. This will one-tap the Hulks. And then for something like a factory strider, this will work on disabling them and I guess eventually killing them as well. But I would use it to disable the top cannon and obviously the front Gatlins. It does a good job at that. But you also have the heavy machine gun for that as well. So the thermite grenade is just kind of like, it's a get out of jail free card if you got nothing else. You could replace it with a stun grenade. That could be good too. But again, thermite grenade is so good right now. So now we can actually talk about some alterations. So with the bots in particular, I really wanted to make the ballistic shield work. I really want that StarCraft medic ballistic shield, and then have the the guard dog, the breath that would hang above you and kind of get that roll. But unfortunately, for rockets and stuff, the ballistic shield, there's just too many rockets for the ballistic shield. You either the shield's just going to immediately break, or you're just going to get ragdolled. Unfortunately, yeah, the ballistic shield, I don't think it cuts it in the higher tiers. And the way I am building these for this build here, I'm building it for tier 9 and tier 10 in mind. So just know this is built for the higher difficulties. You could do, you know, the breath and the ballistic shield and have like a SMG for, like, say, the lower tiers where there's less rockets, but with the reinforced Strider and their rockets plus the regular Devastators and then gunships, yeah, the ballistic shield, not a great pick. So yeah, that's the build overall. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad they added the stim and then they changed the gas effect. I think it does add a new element to play the game, and I feel like now we have a really good medic support kit to kind of play off of if you want to play that role. I would love to see in the future if that gas effect with the sterilizer would actually just like slowly heal your teammates instead while doing damage to the bugs. I think that'd be amazing, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But I was thinking that when I was playing, when I was spraying down the line, I was like, man, it'd be really cool if I could, you know, spray, hit my teammates, they'd be getting healed like a little bit, not as much as a stim, but just like a little bit of healing, and then past that would be, again, confusing the enemies and slowly doing damage to them, and you just kind of get like this all-in-one thing. So that'd be really cool. And I will hold my hands up about the sterilizer. I really thought it was just kind of going to be a reskin flamethrower from the Warbond trailer, and I was wrong. I think this thing is very unique. The fact that they did rework gas, I didn't really know they were going to do that. So I'm holding my hands up to that and said I was wrong about the trailer, but I really like the sterilizer a lot. I highly recommend it. And kind of going to the state of the galaxy with the patch. Holy shit, this was a great patch. Everything is, our pool of weapons for higher tier was here, and now it's just blown open. Everything is good and viable. Not necessarily effective. Like, so for example, I don't think the AMR is effective against a Bile Titan, but it's viable. It can work. You can mag dump 3 mags into a Bile Titan's face and they will die. That is amazing. That makes you feel good about basically picking anything you want to. And I think that is way more important than adding this like artificial difficulty in challenge. Because I will say with the patch, I feel like our Helldivers are weaker. I'm dying a lot quicker. I'm going from 100 to 0 really quick. I'm fine with that change because I don't mind that our Helldivers are kind of built like paper. I feel like that's appropriate, especially if you're going to make all of our weapons super powerful. So I think that's a fine change. I don't remember really seeing that in the patch notes, or at least it wasn't clearly specified that we kind of got weaker. Could be wrong about that. It could just be playing like trash. That's entirely possible as well. But big standouts for the patch for me. I love the Thermite change. I like the AMR change. Basically, I was worried from when they were doing blog posts, I was worried that we were just going to keep balancing the same weapons that we've been balancing since the beginning of the game and not really touching things that haven't been tuned at all. Again, I hold my hands up and say, that I was worried, and they basically alleviated that, especially with the armor value changes and making just everything else more viable. I didn't think they were going to touch the Thermite Grenade, and they did. They keep retooling the crossbow. I love to see that. I would love to see the ammo on that bumped up in the clip a little bit. Tenderizer feels great. I would love 5 more bullets in that magazine to make it 40. I've been playing with that weapon a lot, and the 35, it feels good. It feels a lot better. But man, 40 in the mag would be fantastic. The Diligence Counter Sniper also has been a fun pick. I don't think it's the greatest thing versus the bugs still because of just how many enemies swarm you, and it really is just a bot weapon, but it does feel good if you are with a team and you're not cut out on your own. Totally viable pick. It does do a great job at taking out medium enemies now, so I really appreciate that. And obviously the one I was really looking forward to, the railgun, it is so good now. It feels so great. I love the railgun. That's probably that's in my top 3. Again, it'd probably be the Thermite Grenade, the Railgun, and then the armor value changes. Those are my 3 highlights from the patch. So basically this patch in general has just blown the barn doors open on build ideas, loadout ideas for me, because again, so many more things are viable for those higher tier difficulties. So I'm really happy about the patch. Let me know how you guys are enjoying it, and yeah, again, more builds coming down the line, of course. I eventually will do a full discussion, I guess, review on the Warbond, but probably be like a week later than everybody else's, just because I feel like mine would get buried It might not get any views anyways. It's not a big deal. Anyways, but I'll see you guys next time. Peace.